Governors. I'd like to open today's Port Commission meeting of January the 23rd. Let's check and see if there's anybody out there listening or wanting to participate.
That place. Yeah.
All right, if we don't have any comments from the public, let's move on to the consent agenda.
Those are the minutes.
Approval of the minutes and approval of the harbor master's inspection report. Mike has made a move. Can we get a second?
Second.
Got a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No nays, motion carries. On to the financial report. Our financial director is not here, it looks like.
Correct.
Ms. Jody, please.
Okay. Got the tariff report. Think, one of these just got in today, right?
She asked. I get a check in today.
Do the tariff,
Yesterday.
they give
Yeah,
report.
Yes, we did. Yes.
It was it for somebody.
Plan for, the, yeah. And we received that yesterday. We've got equalizer. And then Helena. That payment was a little over around $11,000. Yeah.
Jody, does both of these documents on the percent difference from previous year shows like around 85% less than last year? Is that what I'm seeing?
Well, if we look at the numbers,
I mean, is that what it's telling me? That we're about half of what we were last year?
So I get,
well, okay,
Okay, that's what I'm after.
I think that's what you're after, yeah.
Thank you. That's all I need. Surprises the heck out of me.
because you see on the one column, it says paid this year and then what was paid the previous year. So it's, and then they just calculate the percentage. So yes, it's less than like for golf cart.
Atlanta too. Okay,
Well, the first month was more. October. But overall. Yeah. Is less.
okay. Yeah, thank you.
They're both down a bit from last year. We'll keep an eye on it. See what that's causing that if we can. Let's move on to the county aging report. And I don't quite understand this.
Nobody's overdue.
No, nobody is overdue.
It's a first, isn't it? That's a first.
Did Aurelio put the fear into him? You want to meet enough or something?
I guess. They paid.
Wow. That's like the first time in a long time,
Ever.
ever. Wow.
We can just take that up, put a star on it, hang it on the wall.
And stuff like that. We need to keep an eye on that in the future so that we have a quality tenants, even though we're not filled completely. But that should improve also with the coming time. All right, let's move on then to
Payment.
the payment report. Jim or Jody, did y'all notice anything outstanding on those? Our bills have finally gone down.
I went back and looked at the water sewer for the last 18 months, and about October last year, 23, it was $250 a month, roughly. And it had been that way for a couple of months. Then all of a sudden it jumped to 400, and which I don't understand why it jumped to 400. Of course, we paid those $1,000 bills, which one of the tenants was using. But it appears still that there's some water going out of the system somewhere. And perhaps if we go ahead and bust those meters apart, Jimbo, and
We will discuss that in a little bit.
okay.
You're on.
But the bottom line is that $400 a month appears to be kind of the base, just roughly looking at it. I sent those numbers to
We'll
you.
discuss that in a minute. You're on track, Mike.
$200 a month, I ain't looking. For that
Let's
party.
look at the revenue and expenditure report. Moving along very nicely. Continue to keep that revenue on the higher side. Outstanding. Looking at the balance sheet, we have an additional little caveat here.
We're up to 895. Good.
What's the executive summary of this thing? Are we on track or are we good shape?
Question?
What's the executive summary of this balance sheet? We've got, are you doing well?
Just a pull off the general ledger. You're talking about the revenue expenditures report? Payment, or you're talking about another report?
This balance sheet unaudited. This
Oh,
this package right here. Alex, that what you're looking at?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah, I'm just asking, are we okay here?
The numbers look really well. We've got good cash. We're gonna be needing it. There's some changes finally coming. We have some payouts, even though we do have encumbered funds. But we're in real good shape. That's what I was commenting about.
Yeah.
Keep our revenue stream up. And we were gonna improve the revenue stream, I believe, from what I'm hearing, so.
Yeah.
Let's move on then to the profit and loss statement. A little snapshot.
I don't remember on the property tax revenue. Was that 90% or something like that, Jody? Was that the number we settled on?
You stepped out for a moment.
Oh, well, it looked like there didn't.
You got
Okay.
a call.
Yeah, they just-
Can you answer that, Ms. Rachel?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
The tax revenue that we got on the 1st of October, was that 90% or 95% of the previous years, or? Remember how that number was calculated?
Fortunately, I can't.
That's a good question.
Well, yeah, she was retaining some of it, which we catch up for next year, so it's not a big deal, I don't think, as I recollect. We just ought to know,
Yeah,
and we can talk to Paul about that when we ever get to it.
it'd be nice to know what the benchmark is when we
Yeah.
meet with him.
That's what we're though gonna go over there and talk to him about, make sure he's taxing and the entities properly.
Right.
I just have a question. Maybe you can answer that for us, Jimbo. On the Port Commission snapshot. City Harbor. We're down about $2,000, but we have the place completely rented. Why are we down from October? When we weren't completely rented, we're down about $2,000 there.
I see.
What happened?
I don't know. You see what you're asking, Jody?
Where, City Harbor?
Port Commission snapshot, gains and losses, look at October, look at December.
On the Port Commission snapshot,
What page you looking at?
comparing first front page, comparing October to December, there's a $2,000 drop.
I mean, I know we.
That would be a major tenant, which we haven't lost a major tenant. Everybody's been paying.
Well, we don't have Mike Hooks there.
Unless it was that cooperative being late on their payments.
I mean, I could,
That could be,
That could
remember
be.
the dredging company we had in there paying for a few months?
I mean, we don't have Mike Hooks in. I mean, we'll look into the detail and see.
That was a couple of $1,000 a month, wasn't it? What was it?
It was a,
$700 a month, that's,
It was 1,500,
how much?
That's $3,000.
1,500.
Yeah,
$1,500?
That was kind of like found money.
If you'll look at that and see what happened,
yeah.
the rest of it looks pretty good. Move on then to the city manager's report.
real quick before we leave this,
Excuse me one second, go ahead.
personnel has been allocated 100% of our gym and
What I-
OLS,
Yes.
and then the overhead didn't go down.
Yeah, I mean, it'll, for this fiscal year, it is, the overhead is 3% of the revenues from last year. But we're not paying half of Rachel's salary.
So we were paying half of, roughly half of previous. And so now we're paying 100% of that plus the overhead.
Plus the 3%, yeah.
Yeah. Probably just need to look at that. We've raised our overhead overall.
Mhm.
about 30%.
Oh, does that reflect that we have now a full-time?
Yeah, right. So it's
Person working.
halftime, now full-time.
Yeah, so I mean, it's reflected in salaries, it's not in the overhead numbers as far as budget goes.
I'm just trying to get a total.
Yeah,
And one other quick,
That's a valid question, Mike. What did we do with the administrative cost?
like I said, I mean,
We moved that out,
yeah,
And-
previously there was,
probably on the salary side,
yeah. She's in the budget of the salaries,
but we still have an administration there,
which is.
But not the
3%.
40-50% we were paying before.
It's equal to 3% of the previous,
3%?
yes.
All right.
So net, did we net an increase in administrative?
Yeah, about
fees?
30%.
30%.
just roughly
Okay.
ballpark.
I don't know what the percentage is, but yeah, there
Hey,
was.
It was for a bit of time, let the numbers cycle through.
Property tax revenue was last year's property tax revenue. 2020.
Well, it's what, yeah, what we are projected to get this year. And at the end of the year, we'll reconcile that because it's what was actually paid. This is what's owed us.
We'll have a real number. We have
Okay.
here.
Well, right now, there's no holdback on it.
No.
Okay,
Let's go on with the manager, city manager report, please.
Okay. First, the CDBG mitigation coastal resiliency shoreline project. And we're completed the 70% design drawings and they are working on 95% design drawings. They're beginning to put the final bid package together. So once we receive core approval, then we will be in a position to bid soon after that. There's been no further communication from the Corps on the project, so as far as we're aware, it is proceeding through the steps before. Raymond has been included in the plan reviews. If others would like to look at the 70% plans, they can be downloaded at the link I provided in the memo. And the latest monthly progress report is attached. The Restore project, our consultant Kim Griffith is working on the bid package. We're working to get her front end contract documents for inclusion in the bid package, which I think we sent that off actually last week. And I believe we're hoping anyway to get authorization to bid the project this spring.
We have a set aside for that? A percentage that we have to participate in the restore grant?
There is no action in Restore, so it's gonna depend on obviously what the bids come in at. We've got $500,000, so. We don't anticipate it's gonna come in anywhere near that honestly, but you know, who knows?
All right.
But it is, you don't have a required match. The CDBG, good, grief, the CDBG Mint Round 2. The application for use of funds, all RFIs have been submitted and we're waiting on action on GLO. Replacement of the culverts under the rail corporation ditch. You recall, we made application to utilize part of our allocation of CDBG Mint Round 2 funds to construct this project. As soon as we fully execute the GLO funding contract, which it's in the same status as the previous year, waiting on the GLO. Once that happens, though, we'll execute a contract with Mont McDonald for the engineering for the project to start ASAP. I have not heard any more status from GLO. I can tell you that about a month ago, I did see on Facebook where GLO had authorized a few of the, I believe it was the Round 2 up in the area near Houston. So I know that they're working on them. We don't have any feel yet when it's gonna be our turn. The MBMDT grant downtown waterfront public access improvement project. We've had no further communication from the Corps since the last set of RFIs. So the Corps is working through their process to complete the internal review with the navigation branch, operations branch, and historic properties coordinator. The MBMT has reimbursed our engineering expenses to date. TxDOT truck route signs. I met with TxDOT on a different matter last week and asked for an update on the installation of their portion of the truck signs required to install our truck route ordinance. They have added this scope to a project to update the signals at various intersections on the Highway 35. This project was let in November, but a contract has not yet been executed. They're working to get me an update and then notify us when the pre-construction conference is scheduled. You're responsible for the large signs and they are responsible for the smaller signs. All should be installed within the same time period so as not to cause confusion among the truck drivers. And that's all I got.
Thank you.
Public comment. And then you move.
Slowly,
They're moving.
they're moving
There you go.
at a lava's pace.
If you would, agenda item 5, Harbor Masters Operation Promotion Development Activity Report, City Harbor Nautical Landings, Building Nautical Landing Marinas, Smith Harbor and Harbor Refuge. Jim, please.
Yes, City Harbor, we discussed this at the last meeting, before Christmas, December. Just kind of left this on her, so I wouldn't forget about it. That number one, the big wash behind, that CH Smith 1-2. Nautical Landings Building, Airfoot's been working on the, storm covers. We're just about done. We've been kind of looking at the 6 big windows, what we're gonna have to do with replacing them on the south end. And to meet the windstorm requirements, we're gonna have to have 2 windows in there. At first, we thought we were gonna have to close the opening down, but we can go with 1 window and another window on top. So it'll almost look like it'll line up with those transom windows.
That's window.
It really won't look bad, and I'm thinking that's what we probably should do. So we get a little further down the road when we discuss it more. That's probably gonna be one of my next projects.
Mike brought up something about that building a while ago and talking about the water meter. Tell us where you're at. You've had a lot of activity and people and excavators.
Well, what we did find out was the water meter on the dock. They hadn't replaced it. It was not reading correctly, so it's got a new meter.
You know anything about, was it reading high, low, or what?
It
You know?
would be high, and it would.
Okay. Wow.
You know, there's a backflow preventer, right? There's 2 valves on each side of that backflow preventer, had those both cut off, blocked in.
If it's still reading?
And then the valve, you know, that's right there ahead of the meter, the city valve, had it blocked in. This thing's reading up and then it started reading in the negative. So we finally just replaced that meter. Now, something to do, and I don't understand all that. But we don't have the capabilities of the I don't know how you even say this. The signal, it's evidently not sending the signal back to the system yet, because I don't know if it's something to do with the radio antenna, I don't know. But you know, that information is being stored there. As soon as it can, it will shoot that information, you know, back. But we actually
Your meter is running correctly though, not forwards and backwards?
don't know that yet. If you look on the meter, we've looked at the meter and supposedly it's zero. It's been blocked in now since we replaced the meter. I came to town Saturday and shut the water off to the docks at the marina and opened all the valves. So it's been shut off. I was gonna open it back up today. And then hopefully we'll get this other issue resolved, whatever it takes to get.
Where's our utility director, Mr. Schaefer? You're not the water man. You're just simply in charge of keeping an eye on the meter for us. Have they come out and done what they're supposed to do? Is that not their responsibility rather than Jim's?
utility,
Karen's.
Karen's guys, and they've been working.
Who two guys?
Yeah, the repairs.
I don't know what point they get involved. I really don't know.
Yeah, but you're not the utility man. I appreciate what you're doing, but get some professional, and they've been chasing this now for almost 2 years.
So this brings.
Continue your story, though.
This brings up another point. And we just had this, we've been in communications with the guy at the marina that was using the water, right? But are the numbers that we calculated and determined how much water he used, are we right or we wrong? I don't know. I don't know if that's something we need to go back and look at. I do not know.
I think we'll just have to wait till we get the new meters in and see if there's any difference in
Well,
normal use.
I will tell you this, Don down, she's got two guys, but Don's a younger guy. He was the one that replaced the meter. I guess it was last Friday. And I told him, I said, well, let's just try to prove this thing a little bit. So I went and found a 5-gallon bucket. And I'd open it up and it appears to be reading correct, because we ran it, I think, 2 or 3 times.
So the water leaks are fixed and we can expect the $200 a month water bills again, except for the overage on the sewer charges.
I hope. I hope.
There wouldn't be any sewer charges.
Didn't we increase the rate? Mike was talking about we were paying $200 back in 23. We've increased the sewer charges and stuff.
Well, I don't know, that's just a lumped together number on that, so I didn't know if we were trying.
Now,
We pay sewer. We don't pay garbage. I don't think we'll pay sewer.
Well, you're maybe, and I was thinking you don't be on super averaging, but because it's monthly.
the other thing, so we'll have to wait a few days to see, because I think that reads, it takes 24 hours before you get, once we get that system's back up.
Did you check the building itself, the toilets and the sinks and stuff like that?
We've done all that. We found a couple of small leaks, repaired those. It appears that the building is running, it's hard to really tell, but it appears that there's a 16-gallon an hour leak.
We still have a leak there.
Yeah,
It's
yes,
in the building.
in the building. And
The slab or something?
Marcus, I talked to Marcus last week, got it on his schedule, and I talked to him this morning, he said he's got it on schedule for tomorrow. To try to figure out what's, trying to determine where this leak possibly is. But there's definitely. But you don't see water in there, so I don't know. I'm afraid it's up underneath the building, because I think that building is built, it's got a perimeter.
Well, that's why I was asking about the sinks and the toilets. That kind of water, if it goes into the water system, you don't ever see it, doesn't create a puddle or a pond.
But there's no sinks. It's not the sinks, it's not the commodes, it's
You
not the
did find
shower.
one commode and got it fixed.
Yeah, we had two, one of them, I had the tablets that you put in the tank. One commode, it took 45 minutes to finally show up in the bowl. The other one showed up, it took a few minutes, but it finally started showing up. So we replaced all the guts and both all the float and the flat, all that stuff. We replaced all those components in both of
But
them.
we're still at about 16 gallons
But
somewhere.
it appears to me that's what it is, about 16 gallons an hour. So
And you got Marcus on it.
Marcus is on it. He said he'd report back to me tomorrow. He said that's on the schedule for tomorrow.
I presume you can sign that meter up.
Do we need to? I guess if you find a leak and we gotta bust a dig under or something, that goes to Jody to authorize it and do the expenditure.
Well, I'm wondering, that north end of that building, if you get on under that porch, there's some vents. Remember how you used to have, it's got those planters, the brick planters on the north end, there's a vent there, and I'm hoping that maybe they can get up underneath there and look at something there. I don't know that. But there's definitely a leak. There's gotta be a leak somewhere. Something else is leaking. One of the other things we did find out when we started cutting the water off, that that north meter actually controls everything down to, Suite 2. Cause Suite 2, they don't, they use the common bathrooms on the south end. But there is a sink, kind of, I think there may have been kind of a kitchen area built in there at one time, that one area. So that it controls that sink as well. That north meter does. So that south meter has the men and women's facilities, the kitchenette area, and that's.
That answer your question, Mike?
Well, sort of. But bottom line, I have a slab house. I just, stopped at the edge of the slab, went around it and went up the outside of the slab to get my water leaks taken care of. Cause otherwise I'd have to dig under there and that's an impossible task on a slab
I
almost.
think most of that building, to be honest with you, I think most of that building is built on pier and beam.
Okay. Then it ought to be under there. It should be easy to get to then.
I mean, even if we had to cut a hole somewhere, we cut a hole in the floor or whatever, but,
The other thing you can do.
I don't know that you can dig up underneath it from the back. I don't know.
The other thing is you can just subscribe to the, whatever the program is, which gives the usage by hour. And I kind of have that running on my computer all the time. And all that tells me if I got a leak or if I'm using excess water.
Now the meter on the south end, he just replaced that too. That had the old.
Makes both the meters.
We got two new meters. Well, actually, the one on north end is fairly new meter when they replaced all the meters in town. The south meter never got replaced because they couldn't find it, I guess. I don't know. And so, there's a new meter there as well. But the same thing with it, they gotta go through the programming and all that before it'll start showing up on the program and.
I got a general question, Jimbo. We got 3 meters down there, right?
Correct.
Serving the nautical landings
Yes.
facility.
Right.
Okay,
Building itself has 3 meters.
Building.
Oh.
2 meters
The dock has one.
one on the dock and one on the north end of the building, one on the south end of the building.
Yes.
And right now we know that we got probably a 16 gallon per hour leak on the north end.
Okay, correct.
And the other one will be able to verify at the docks, hopefully.
Yeah.
And the south end is still questionable.
Well, I don't think we ever had a problem there, but we'll know.
Okay,
Hopefully, I don't know what it's gonna take to get them all. The electronic programming part of it is corrected, but I'm sure she'll get that done.
Okay.
All right, move
Well,
on.
it's a lot of water still, even at this size of a bill, $400 a month, that's a lot of water.
But and I started thinking about this too. You got
I've got the same,
2, 3, 4, 5, you got 5 commodes.
I have the same number in my house, okay? 5 commodes. I have the same number of sinks. All above, the same square footage, roughly 6,000 plus. And then my bill is 1/4 of what the bill is on now, roughly. So therefore, there's somewhere that water's going.
Well, it's really crazy when you look at that, when she pulls it up, of course, the last time we got any readings was 17th, which I think 17th was Friday when he put the new
Yeah.
in. Well, of course, I was at the dock. But, we've kept up with that at least 3 or 4 days a week. I've looked at it in the morning just to see where we were at. It's been pretty consistent. But, you look, you run through there, we're running 20 gallons an hour and all of a sudden
Yeah.
we're running 60 gallons an hour. And I don't know if
Some boat could have pulled up, but
people have gone to the bathroom at the same time, and well, I don't know. I just don't know enough about that kind of stuff.
But you are aware we have a problem, you're working it.
So,
Where we have a problem, you're working it.
15 months ago, it was $200 or $250 a month.
Let's go on to agenda item, 2C, Nautical Landing Marina.
okay. Of course, Horizon, they've been there 13 times since the last meeting.
Kind of an interjection there that we have a young man from Formosa was coming in today, but at vacation. He's coming in next meeting to talk about what they're doing in our part of the bay system whatever else we want to ask him. And he's the one that's,
The 27th,
the next meeting,
the next, okay.
meeting, I'm
Regular meeting.
today,
All
February.
right,
February. And he's notified Jody. That's all.
go ahead, Joe.
Well, the other thing we're gonna do is, well, we'll get to it in a minute. Go ahead.
So we received all the lease renewals for the marina. Of course, we had to chase, Be a Wiley down, and I talked to her a couple of times. I said, look, you're on the spotlight. You're in the spotlight. I said, if you can't get straight here, I said, they're gonna have me evict you. So we'll see how that goes. She kind of got everything straight, so. Smith Harbor. Actually, we actually did this, Saturday. We came in and I think we end up with like 14 or 15 loads of shell. And the problem is it's spread out kind of so. Problem is those mud holes are so deep, so wet, we have to kind of let all that dry out, and they're gonna come back and work on it. So they almost got the maintainer stuck over there.
Wow.
I mean, front end stuff.
So should have listened to me. I've been telling you for 3 months. They're getting worse. They're getting worse.
You know, you got a good start on this.
Jimbo,
Yes, sir.
are you aware of that meter loop that's sitting on the edge of the bulkhead at Smith Harbor? Somebody has put a meter loop in there.
Really?
That stuff,
It's been there a while.
is it one that's actually, it's there, but it's not connected at the top, or is it a new one?
No, it's not connected, but it's new.
I tried to get all that removed, and I don't know, I
Put
never.
it in there.
I never.
Yeah, how's that? Who trespassed on our property today?
Guess who put it in there? Who wanted to park their boat there? Yep,
They put it in.
it's a new, brand
Did they?
new meter loop. It's been sitting there for months.
I think that may be the one that's been there for a long
I mean,
time.
there's a one that they're falling.
But it just wasn't connected on that one end.
I'm just wondering who put it there and what's it doing there?
I don't know, I tried to get the fire company to come clean some of it up. I mean, it's just kind of a mess, right? You know,
I mean,
there's a bunch of
this one,
stuff.
there used to be, I think when that show had us over there. There used to be. And I think it was still remain. I didn't know there was a new one.
They've got to go through there though to put one up,
Yeah,
don't they?
I would think so.
What do you think?
There he is, yeah.
But
Somebody had to okay putting it there. Just saying.
Yeah, I don't think AEP is gonna do it on.
That's what I'm thinking. I've got to go through there. Too. Did them so quiet, I think.
one of the other things is kind of crazy. And I know a lot of things. I didn't really think the way they tied it, their new facility in, I mean, it's coming off that pole on the bulkhead too. I don't know if you've ever noticed, but their power comes from, there's a pole off the bulkhead that runs back. And I was hoping we were gonna get all that cleaned up, but we wouldn't have all that. But that just never happened, for whatever reason.
Well, is it coming off? Because they've got line in what? At one point was the right of way of Live Oak, not Live Oak. The next one over. Is that where the power's coming?
Their power is coming, if you look, I can't remember, it seemed like we got one or two of those poles pulled up there, if I remember. There was one there, and I'm thinking that might be the one Rain was talking about, but there could be something else there. I've been there, but I'm sure if there was something new, it would have caught my eye.
Well,
You know,
why don't you see if you can get Darren to go with you and y'all go look at it? If it needs to be cleaned up or cleared.
but I do know their power is coming off of a pole that's right there behind the bulkhead. That's where their power is coming.
If everything's legitimate, that's fine, but if you want to get it cleaned up, you and Darren go look at it. And just have the city reach out to AEP and say, hey,
The question is that power pole in the right of way?
No, it's right on the bulkhead.
Yeah, that's right.
You're talking about the one that they're pulling their power off is on the bulkhead?
Yes.
Well, but there.
The city gave them permission to do this?
There was,
no.
that's where AP had a line through, because that used to be a right of way.
And it goes, and there's a pole out in the middle of all the
There
dirt
used to
pile.
be big,
There's a line that runs, cause the excavators hit that line when they were digging all that City Harbor out.
Well, if you get a chance, like I said, you can do it, go out there,
Yeah.
look at it, we heat it up, great, because we do need. Mike McDonald's coming along, like a turtle, but they're getting there.
well, it's gone down, it's years.
These meter loops are privately owned.
Yeah, I mean.
Somebody paid to build that meter loop and it's sitting there.
It's been there for a while. They came in.
I think it has. Well, all I'm saying is if you can't, nobody can figure out who owns it, let's get it out of there.
Honestly, I think that was there, if I remember when we bought it, it's been there a while.
Yeah,
So they came and put it-
Okay.
That's city property on our easement. If
Yeah.
Darren agrees, we'll make it happen, I think. Go ahead, Jim.
Okay, this is, I did talk with Kevin Frankie last week, but there have been some changes since,
Yeah, they're
actually.
coming tomorrow.
Yeah, they're coming tomorrow to look and probably be here next week to start, grinding.
They're not gonna wait till February then.
Sorry.
They're not gonna wait till February. Wonderful.
Anyway, of course, I sent Kevin Frankie a note yesterday. So,
Well, Ben Boone is the guy who controls that.
sir,
Ben Boone at Alcoa controls that.
yes, sir.
So if you want to find out something, call Ben.
Well, I mean, Kevin does a pretty good job of keeping me abreast of what's going on.
Who's the guy who are buying it?
Sir,
Who's the control person? It's Ben. And Ben, Ben's got ideas he wants it, sent.
usually, and I know they want it because they've been calling about it for 3 months.
Well, they need it because it needs to keep that down, the dust down over there. They get fussed at by other people.
And of course,
Would it be good for us to contact Ben Boone and find out what?
Yeah, I talked to him. And he said, it's not a big deal. We're small potatoes to them.
Yeah.
But, we were talking mainly about moving it out to the north end of the county. I think Joey's did, talk to the judge about that. So it's moving.
Okay, good. Just
This takes forever.
leave it alone, see what happens.
of course, Lester, they're still moving material. We got a lot of material to,
Have y'all been able to get out there and mow and doze and stuff, or it's just
we
too?
haven't been out,
Ugly.
Tim's office kind of been busy with other things, and that's kind of a feeling thing, Now, one of the things we didn't talk about here was back at the Nautical Landings, we had that, bid closing for the breakwater project.
And that's on the agenda.
Yeah. Oh, is it on the agenda here?
Yes.
Okay. Well, we can talk about that in a minute. So that's about all I have.
Have you got some comments or something, Raymond?
I don't, but I sure do like this to-do list. We fixed that up. Did a good job, whoever it was. Thank you,
It was a team effort.
Team effort, yeah.
Get it?
thanks.
Yeah, it's.
What's going on?
Some next be doing.
Okay. That's nice.
I don't really have any special comments. Rob Knox, myself and Mike met here along with Tim Dent. We didn't meet. Where did we meet? Yeah, we did.
We're at Robert's office.
Yeah, that's right. So we're working on an overall organization situation for the Port Commission and for the future. It's still in progress, I guess, before we're ready to present it to the committee.
Yeah, I don't think it's ready, but that's,
No, it's not. We haven't heard anything from Rob.
no.
Okay.
On the very back page, agenda item number 20. Address the issues of cooking grease being released into City Harbor Justin Scully's. Highlighted, Merrick reports that an inspection was performed several months ago and Scully's is collecting and transporting the grease off site. Derek will have more information at the meeting. We are meeting.
Where's the grease going?
I don't know where that film is coming from, honestly. But I checked, I did go by there this morning again and opened up the grease trap, looked at the clean outs. They are disposing of the cooking grease in a container that gets picked up once a week. And they're also cleaning out the grease trap. They do have too small of a grease trap, but they are maintaining it, so that way it's not getting into our system, from what I can tell. If it wasn't working properly and it was getting into our system, it wouldn't be that clear film. It would be white clots of grease.
Yeah.
But as far as cooking grease, they're disposing of it in a separate container that gets picked up once a week.
They've got then like a septic or environmental company picking up their
Yes.
waste then.
Yeah, they have one of
As
those.
long
package
as they-
containers.
As long as the GLO or whatever, is not coming after Jim and us, we're okay.
We haven't had this problem in a long time.
Yeah, I remember a couple of years ago, Jim and I, he talked to me about it and we went out and looked at it. But I'm gonna continue to watch Scully's and continue to monitor and make sure.
Trustee and Jim were on a first name basis there for a while.
Is the grease issue in the water still an issue? Is it still there? You're saying it's cleared up, Jimbo?
I mean, it got so bad, we had to put a piece of disposable sauce.
Okay.
It was bad.
It was bad, but I'm not sure what it was or where it's coming.
Well, it sounds like we can take this off if it's not,
Just stay on top of it.
okay.
All right, let's move on. Y'all notice that this agenda item is a little different than in the past. We've been advised that we need to formally announce that we have a closed session. We used to have it in the heading, kind
Yeah,
of open-ended. We could do it whenever we wanted.
well, the one in the heading was not technically sufficient because it was only dealt with advised by the attorney. So when we were dealing with real estate, which we can do without the attorney present, the wording needs to be slightly different. And Anne Marie suggested that instead of putting it at the top, it needed to be an actual agenda item. So this is here, it'll be a running agenda item for every meeting in case we need it. If you don't, just pass on it and bring it.
Alex, just one point on that. So we need to add in our
It's in-
normal agenda items in the future, in our closed session.
It's today's agenda and it'll just remain there.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's restricted to real estate.
Or leases, anything that was.
Leases or real estate.
Leases we own, leases, dollars, anything that sort of thing we can speak about in closed session under this agenda item. Without attorney present.
We're gonna pass on 6 and 7 for the moment. Let's go to agenda item number 8. And that's review the bids for Nautical Landing Breakwater Project and make recommendations to council.
We received bids for the Gov Reference project on January 15th. 3 bids were received and on the bid tabulation. The low bidder is Derrick Construction with a bid of $445,162 and a 90-day construction time to substantial completion. There is we budgeted a total of $167,000 as matched to a $500,000 Parks and Wildlife grant for a total of $667,000. So there are available funds to move the project. I understand that the Parks and Wildlife project is a 25 reimbursable grant. So if the final contract award amount is $445,162, and the grant dollars would be $333,871.5, and our match would be $111,290.50. Staff concurs with Urban in recommending to council, recommend to Port Commission to recommend to council an award of a construction contract to Derrick Construction, $445,162.
So why would we not want to do this?
I cannot.
This is good. Let's go. We put money in the bank.
And were you involved in the review of this, Derek?
No, sir.
No,
Okay.
The other question is, this does not include the engineering costs.
this is the construction contract.
That's what I'm saying. No, it does not.
No.
Nothing. So just the engineering cost, just the construction.
Engineering is not part of the grant. that was.
Okay,
I know, we all kind of keep our eyes on the total cost, because the engineering cost on this is not trivial.
No.
this will close up the hole though, that's allowing
Yes,
turbulence to go into the harbor down
I
there.
mean, I don't know,
That was the inference a while ago that our revenue stream should improve once we can provide the boaters a more secure harbor where they're not, we can now rent those slips that have been vacant for so long.
yeah, I mean, repair the.
Intimated information.
Just write a letter that
Yeah. I think it's a great deal. Let's go.
Make a motion here.
I move we accept the bid submitted by Derrick Construction and move forward post haste.
second.
Have a second. We have a motion from Raymond Butler, a second from Mr. Nichols, if we accept the Derrick Construction bid. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? No nays. We're moving forward, finally getting some money going here. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thanks to Jody for the grant, right?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All right, number 9 is discuss establishing permitting mooring spaces along the bulkhead along track 1 of City Harbor adjacent to the entrance of the channel.
This is an item that was on Raymond's to-do list to discuss. So, there have been occasions in the past where boaters have wanted to tie up to this dock on a temporary basis while visiting Scully's, and more recently, a smaller boat was parked there associated with a crew boat that was paying for the dockage, and we were charging them today. The question is whether the Port Commission wants to establish docking mooring spaces alongside this area on track 1 for transient use. Looking at our fee schedule, the fees that we currently have in place, there's a daily cleaning mooring charge that is for fleeted vessels, equipment or materials other than barges, it's $250 a day. And there's a daily dockage for self-propelled and non-self-propelled vessels based upon length. And then I had the question, looking at some other places, whether we wanted a separate commercial vessel dockage rate for Sea Harbor, that might be, in the neighborhood of $25, $30 a day or whatever, or just use the daily rates that are shown above.
We also have in the approval from last time that we will not award any leases for less than a year.
Yes.
So that means everything that comes in there is a daily rental.
Yes, there's.
There's no.
And that's the question, do we want to establish this for daily rate purposes? I don't think anybody's suggesting creating a docking space for a year's lease, no.
Or anywhere.
And establish these as.
This was,
daily rate docking.
the concept here was to address those vessels that come into the harbor of refuge and are there for a short-term basis, maybe 3 days, 4 days, 5 days. They're just there waiting on something to happen.
See, because right now we really don't have any place to put anybody like that.
No, we don't. So what happens is they just come in there and they sit and nobody gets anything for it. I have a comment to just add to this. Part of our reorganization discussion has to do with advertising that we are a real port here. And right now, there's a lot of people that have no clue that we even have space for barges over here. And when they do need them, they wind up staying over there at Alcoa. But I think in conjunction with us doing something here, we ought to try and advertise in the proper.
I mean,
that-
and I'm asking this because I honestly don't know.
Yeah,
Are we can accommodate barges in the city?
sure.
Where?
Yeah, lay them alongside.
On track 1?
Yeah,
Okay, no, that's fine.
Or-
That's.
track 11. You can
There's
physically,
no track.
you can lay Well, I know it's leased, okay?
It's leased, that's what I'm saying,
But
that's the.
I'm just telling you,
Leased space.
Okay.
Would be a long time, and that's.
it would be
that's-
track one.
Yes,
Yeah,
but it wouldn't be for like a year's lease. This is
No.
for daily.
this is for what the industry calls fleeting. Where you take a vessel and you're gonna be here 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
That
So that's
includes
the
towboats.
question. Do we want to establish that so we can advertise, then let people know this is a day?
We have in the past, not allowed people to park on that bulkhead. And personally, I would still be opposed to people parking on that bulkhead. Now, if we're gonna get into business with Scully's, let's lease Scully's a parking place, 2 or 3 slots in front of their place if they want. So that folks can come in for an hour or 2.
Yeah.
Eat and drink and go on. But that would be Scully's to lease and Scully's to monitor, not us. But I'm still opposed to having people parked in the channel, traffic coming and going.
You're talking about City Harbor,
Yes, sir.
right? Roger that.
This little red dot.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
But you know, when we used to park
No, that's not what I'm thinking about.
When all of the waterfront area comes to fruition and completion with the Smith Harbor and stuff, and we start to get the tourist traffic, then that may change, but at the present time, I think we'd be opening up a can of worms and creating extra work for little or no revenue on a daily basis.
So that would include no barges too.
I'm sorry, guys. I was on the wrong page. Forget barges totally. I'm sorry. I'm in the wrong harbor.
Yeah,
This is City Harbor, this is.
I agree with what you're saying, Alex. That's,
Well, Alex, the other thing is that you talk about being damaging the access right there. I'll tell you, I park next to down in Kima all the time, tied up next to it, upstairs and right there. I'm sure you were part of
The
that.
yacht club and the turtle club, we were there, but that was, it's a different area and it was designed for that.
Yeah,
We
not
just got
much.
through building a $500,000 walkway. I don't want to tie off on those aluminum rails and pull them all down and I don't think we're ready for that type of activity, in my
So
opinion.
the real question then would be, how do you keep people out of there? If you don't want it, then how do you keep?
Jim, it's up to Jim.
Yeah, right. I've seen, we're not doing much of that right now,
Oh,
so.
he went down there. You've been fighting with a couple of people already this last couple of weeks.
did they park it alongside the bulkhead in the channel?
No, they were over there on the load dock. And then
Oh, yeah.
Curtis had been chasing him, I'd been chasing him, and finally I went down there, put a tag on it and stepped on it. This was a sailboat and I stepped on it and it was kind of weird. The hatch on the back was closed, the lock was locked. So I'm like, this guy's not around. As soon as I stepped on there, that front hatch, I was taking a help. And I said, well, yeah, you have to move. And, we talked a minute. I said, all this is private. He said, well, I was told it was public. I said, no, not really. Anyway, he moved, but he moved up.
Moved over to Clegg's hole.
Exactly.
He's a freeloader, people grifting.
So I went down there Saturday and I went by there to talk to him. I said, look, you probably can't move. I said, the weather's coming. I said, he said, well, he told me, he said, well, yeah, I'm sitting on the ground right now. And I said, I'm sure you
Yeah.
are. And I
So,
said,
hey, take your boat over there to the Nautical Language Marina.
I told him.
You can pay us
he said,
daily.
well, hey, and I said, it's gonna cost you about $15 a day. He said, man, I don't even have $15 a day. And I said, well, I'm not gonna run you out of here. I said, today, I said, but you need to be out here as soon as this.
Good.
At North Wind has that boat so low on the ground, because the bay is empty.
Didn't go.
Notice all those shoals and shells and whatever.
Okay, well, I'm sorry about, I was off base there.
So again, we put it on here for discussion.
So, I think at some point,
No action taken.
yeah.
Agenda item number 10, discuss status report from the Tariff Development Committee.
Yeah, with the weather and everybody else's schedule and everything, I wasn't able to get all of the committee together to look at this one last time before we bring it to you. So I did send it out by email to everybody. I'm hoping everybody had a chance to really look through this and make sure that you're all in agreement. Because I want, the Port Commission to tell me, yeah, this all looks great. Now go, Raymond and I can get together and meet with the attorney, Marina, with this copy. We all agree, we're good with this, and the panel look at it and make any recommendations.
I think rather put this in our potential changes in it. It ought to be part of that, so that we don't conflict across two documents.
Yeah, I do too.
And so I would anticipate the next meeting, we would come with this potential change. And that way there's no conflict.
Right. There's actually,
Therefore, I'm saying pass.
there's two concepts here. One of them is the leases that we have in place already with Prestige, Curtis Miller, and not Helena, but Equalizer, no, Encore. There's three leases that deal with waterfront issues and mooring the vessels. And we just need to make sure that those leases are drawn up to reflect what we want.
Right.
And right now, there seems to be a little cloud over that issue. The other one is the long-term issue of charging of tariffs and the concepts that we want to put in place when a vessel occupies surface water in the harbor of refuge. And that includes what's actually happening right now.
Today.
Yes, there are vessels in there. I think they're Encore vessels. They're taking up surface water, and there is, I don't think we have a real clear policy like this to govern the charging of fees for that. And Encore has a lease. So it may be covered in the lease.
Track 3.
I don't think it's covered.
No, I mean.
Right now, they're randomly parking barges. And
And
those,
you have to pay for that.
yeah, do we have a method? Do we have a tool in place for doing that?
Yeah, we're communication and.
That's this? Okay, good.
But anyway, I think we'll just take this and put it together with any changes we want to make with regard to structure and put it together same time.
I think that'd be good. Yeah, because I mean,
That way we'll have some more eyes on it as well.
and there again, in whatever you guys are working on, there may be, this is the instruments we have to reflect our operations is this document. And then obviously, the ordinance that, the waterways. Chapter 54. That's.
This should probably serve as our Bible for how we control charging for water surface rights.
The only thing on this is on page 16. We need a daily docket rate for commercial vehicles that aren't barges. Okay, if we start doing things like this, we get into the minutia. It's a boat.
Well,
The
question is whether it's
Yeah.
I agree with
Is
you.
it a crew boat? Is it a 85-foot towboat?
Doesn't matter.
Right.
If we get into the minutia now,
We just need a method for covering it.
Yes. Don't think we need to create another category, because we can create categories for
We just want to make sure
pleasure
whatever,
boats or ski boats or jet skis, and it just gets,
other fishing boats are the same as commercial
that's
boats.
what I'm saying.
Okay.
If a vessel, it's a vessel.
I hear you.
Dinghy, we're gonna ding the dinghy, you
Right,
know?
right. But there's two different concepts for dealing with boats. One of them is these shrimp boats that come in every day. They got their little hole they go tie up to. And they're there every day.
They're paying.
Okay, well, I'm just saying
They're
that,
not paying us.
well, that's something we need to think about.
But the lease is paying us.
Right, well, that's right. And we're okay if that lease is drawn properly. The other issue is the boats, the towboats that come in here with these barges and they're sitting, waiting. We need to have a
Yes.
philosophy for charging it.
Yes.
And then crew boats and whatever other boats come in there want to occupy surface water space we need to think about it.
I don't want to ratchet it up so high. You talk about Encore. They've already told us what they thought of us. We lost our lease at, we got a 1-year lease out of,
Yeah.
track 4
Yeah,
because of maybe our aggressiveness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't agree.
We'll get another tenant. I'm not concerned about that, but there will be a lag time. By the time we catch up with the lag time, it may or may not be beneficial to the Port Commission, revenue wise.
Doesn't take much to make up,
Walks off.
Oh.
and it doesn't.
This is a good document.
I think we need to just worry about the concepts and make sure we got them covered. And all the other stuff, we'll
Well,
take care of.
that comes up with the implementation of our leases.
Yes,
If we're using this, which I think is a good document, the only place I had a problem with was like I said on that 16.
yeah.
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 And move forward with it.
Okay.
Do we need to vote on this and
No.
send it to council or?
No,
We needed this, no, before we send it to council, Raymond and I are gonna sit down with the attorney, but I'm not gonna spend your money or our money with this attorney till I have a vote from the Port Commission to do so. That you're ready to send this document to.
Hear what she says?
yes, I know exactly what she said.
If you wanna wait, I mean, that's, if you're still wanting to.
Well, it needs to be integrated with any changes
That's
we
fine.
want to make. It needs to be integrated. And then Robert's working on that, chairing that little group that's being,
Yeah, that's what the organization is.
yeah, organization, any organization that interface with this need to be, make sure they join together.
But I think, Jody, for me, I'm ready to move forward. I'm hesitant about how deeply we get involved with an attorney.
Well, and again, that's why we're trying to.
I wanna be there with it.
Minimize the
Have you read and are satisfied with this, Larry?
I'm good. I was on the committee that kind of helped
Yeah,
us
right.
with this. And
Yeah.
yeah, if Raymond's good with it, I'm good with it. I don't see any significant changes from what we chatted about. We've all hashed it out in this room.
Well, I've read it and like I said, there was just a couple of things, we keep talking bags. And honestly, the state does barrels, they don't do bags. And as we saw this year, the pick was pretty thin. So I think we're chasing our tail and spending a lot of money on nothing because we won't get the revenue stream. Should it ever develop, we can always go back and change it. That's not an issue. With
Disagree.
that being said, I'll entertain a motion.
I disagree with the oyster thing, period, end of story.
Okay?
Okay.
Absolutely. And I think we ought to wait till there are some changes that are going to be made, proposed to this commission, the next meeting. There will be changes proposed. And they may integrate with this. I want to make sure that there's no conflicts. We'll get through this and we have to rediscuss it again.
We can change it at any time.
It's not once. I just think it ought to be done together.
I agree. We've got another couple of weeks before we're ready with our organization
Yes.
stuff. Actually, we wanted to have it today.
So we can wait till then.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, we'll put it on the agenda for next time. That's,
Okay. I'm good with
All
that.
right, no motion taken.
So I'm gonna put it on my to-do list for next time.
That's to-do list, Raymond. And agenda item 11 was Robert's agenda and he's not here. We will table that.
Yeah.
well, I just want to take this opportunity to remind everybody, we have a joint workshop with council, Monday night, 5:30 at Nautical Landings meeting room. At that meeting, we'll be talking about this. So that's why I was hoping you all would have a chance to kind of talk about it before spraying it on council, but that's and I know, there are some on council that are expecting, the overall discussion.
Is this their first time to see this document? Council?
That's not the document,
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Again,
We can discuss that. And it's going to be participation anyway with the city council. so Robert can make his presentation to us and the city council so they'll understand and we will understand the movement. The subject is select a committee for possible changes to the Port Commission
Yeah.
and our interaction with the council.
Well, the agenda item for Monday night reads, discuss valuation of various ports and harbors properties and general operations, planning and goals of Port Commission.
Oh. Well, we haven't met with Paul Spaeth yet.
So maybe we want to push that meeting out another couple of weeks, Jody.
We intended to meet with him. We intended to meet with him like yesterday,
Yeah,
but he's sick. So we're not gonna have input from the appraisal district until next
we're
week.
not gonna have input from the committee much. We'll have some, maybe.
We've been waiting on Rob to get us
Yeah.
info, so that, we don't have that.
I mean, Robert was working on having a report today for y'all, but he got sick, so.
Oh, he
I'm
did?
sure he will have it ready.
Everybody's getting sick.
Yeah, everybody in town.
The operative word on this notice, it's a workshop.
Yes, it's working.
We're just gonna discuss, so.
Ah, good.
Absolutely, yeah, it's an absolute
It
workshop.
just seems a little weird that we're discussing with the council before we discuss it among ourselves. But I mean, I don't know what radical proposal might be proposed, so it's fine with me if it's similar.
I don't either.
I mean, but what I'm saying is suppose we get to the council and there's
No.
some radical proposal that we haven't even seen.
Well, let me
And
just,
then the council says, yeah, let's put that on.
We're not going to do anything. It's just a workshop. That's what I was saying. Bringing that to the forefront. We're gonna hear it for the first blush. So will council. They may or may not agree. We may or not agree, but nothing's gonna happen anyway at that juncture.
okay.
All I can say, I mean, the meeting's been posted, but, I mean, I could
They probably won't be upset if it,
down to council and see if,
Let's hope Rob brings some information to the meeting
He's
because
sick. He's not gonna be, he may even there.
it's gonna be a pretty shaky meeting if he doesn't have something
Yeah.
written down.
well, when I'm looking at I don't know, I mean, we could. It's President's Day, we're gonna be off, so,
the point is, we postponed the whole port commission meeting for weather. So we've had weather, we've had illness, we ain't ready. I mean, that's the truth. We're not ready.
Yeah, I agree.
Schedule, I mean, whether,
Let's don't drop this in front of council until we've discussed it.
Yeah.
okay, so I've got either. I don't know that February 3rd is gonna help any, I don't know that next week's gonna be a bad week, I'm gonna be out in a conference. To where, I mean, all we've got basically is February 3rd or February 24th.
February 3rd?
That would be Monday.
I can't do it that day, I know. I have a medical appointment. But what is the urgency?
The urgency was just, council told me that they wanted to do this in January.
I think the council, I talked to a couple of them and what their feeling was is that they were getting involved in negotiations that they have assigned us to do, but they tend to get involved in and then they stay involved. I think they like to get this working relationship, so understand where the responsibility is and whether they want willing to give the responsibility.
Yeah,
And that-
it's a big question.
and it's not trivial, yeah, because they,
Big question.
If we kept the meeting on and Robert's not there to present, then there is no presentation.
yes.
And we could get a lot of preconceived ideas floating around that
Yeah, then
may make our
So
test.
I can present to council that because of various circumstances.
whether they're in the sickness is going.
To discuss this ahead of the meeting.
Right.
So we're looking to cancel this meeting and I guess go to the 24th. That's the next, unless we had it during the week, but that's the next Monday I got available
Hey, this,
for a special.
Larry, you said you couldn't do the.
The 20th, yeah, the 3rd of February, y'all can meet, that's fine, but I have.
I also have an issue with the public notice on agenda item number 2. We've already ran through that and let our feelings be known.
Yeah,
Why would we go to a workshop?
But they made a request to go to council, so I thought Port Commission would have an opportunity to share with council in this workshop setting. Well, again, with the goals and everything, why the decision or recommendation was made not to do that. And then council's not making any votes, because it's a workshop. It would be brought up at a subsequent meeting, but then it could be talked about here as opposed to in the county council. Because they've requested, to appeal it to council.
I'd like to hear what Robert has to say to us before we take his statement to, he probably feel that same way. I mean, I would hate to say, this is what Alex and all of us think when I haven't even talked to Alex. So there you go.
Let me do that. I mean, it's possible then that agenda item 2 might end up being on the February 10th council meeting. Without benefit of a workshop ahead of time, but put the item 1, just move it to the 24th.
I would just move forward with it. We did a vote. We discussed it. We went closed session. Feelings of the Port Commission have been expressed.
Well, I think council.
If Robert is well, Robert had volunteered to make the presentation on our behalf. So to me, it's a moot point.
Okay, I'll do that. All right, well, we'll do that.
Are we gonna move this thing?
I will push that out to council and say yes, unless for
Okay.
some reason.
Tim Dent was at the meeting.
Yes.
So is there,
Again, he's one that wanted it in January, but.
is,
Didn't happen.
Couldn't get there.
Just didn't happen.
I think it'll be fine.
So we're gonna go to the 20th or something,
24.
24th?
24th of February?
Yes,
Yes.
Okay. I don't need to look it up. It's way out there.
yeah.
Yes.
so there's not a meeting?
In the bar.
All right.
That's no meeting Monday night.
I will
Alright.
get that out.
Alright. Just checking.
Check your calendar.
That maybe on Monday night, it's not 24.
I'm tired of being too busy to do anything.
I know, it's just telling me what to do, and I have to keep up with it myself.
Okay.
It's nothing like losing your assistant to do all that work.
I know, see, they just said you'd be here, that's it.
Now we'll go back to agenda item 6. I'm going to announce we're going to retire in a closed session to deliberate the purchase, the lease, or the value of property. Deliberation in an open meeting would be detrimental to the effects of the position of the governmental body in negotiation with a third party in accordance with chapter 551, title 5, section 551072 of Texas Government Code. Outside of Derek, everyone is welcome. It's 11:23 and we are back from closed session. The final item in our closed session we didn't discuss is comments from the commissioners. Agenda item 12.
I'm just glad that the bulkhead is
Finally,
moving and some things are moving. That was very good.
Easy.
I don't have any comments. I'm happy.
Michael?
no comments.
Again, as usual, I've pontificated plenty. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
A motion from Larry to adjourn.
Let me take one personal item. Most of y'all know I've been treating for getting run over in the parking lot. I'm still being treated. I'm still bleeding.
Wow.
8 weeks Monday.
Dang, Mike,
And I said, well, I mean, she says I'm doing beautifully.
you need a stop leak.
Yeah.
That's,
Calm down, it's calm down.
Wow.
they say you're doing beautifully, but you're still there. That's what they told me. I'm wonderful. Said,
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
yeah.
We'll say this, initial cost on the 2-hour visit to the emergency room was $12,000. And all they did was doctor it up. And I don't know how much I'm getting paid now. I don't know how much I'm charging them. Lots. $500.
We didn't do a vote, though. All in favor, say aye.
Oh, didn't do a vote. I thought we did a vote.
Oh, no, you got.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
All in favor to adjourn, say aye.
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 Opposed, no nays. Now your personal note again.
Well, just